Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Christian here, and you are tuned in for more of my 2 cents. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Um, I am super excited about this season of my life and what it looks like for this channel as well. I haven't posted over here in a very long time, and I'm not sorry for it. Clock it, like they say nowadays. No, but I'm not sorry for it because I am truly living life and I am enjoying it, and I hope that you all are too. There's a lot going on right now in the world. There's a lot going on right now in the church. There's a lot going on in all of our individual lives. But I have to tell you that this is a deconstruction channel. I deconstructed years ago, and it is amazing to see so much of what I said come to pass. Like, it is amazing. If you have never watched any of my other videos when I used to be on camera, if you've never listened to any of my content, which is pretty much in podcast form now, because I don't really get on camera a lot anymore, um, then you should go back. I have over 300 videos here on this platform. And when I first got on here, I was doing the Lord's work, okay? Yes, I was. I was getting on here and speaking raw, real, and uncut from my church experiences and sharing my stories and sharing my thoughts on a lot of things. I am a critical thinker. I think critically. I think logically. I challenge everything that I've been taught, that I've been told, and none of what I've been shown. I question it all, and it has led me to where I am today. And baby, when I tell you I got receipts for days for my life, I have receipts for days when it comes to what's going on in the church, how it's unfolding, and I would say the untimely demise, but baby, it is very on time. Yes, it is. It is very on time, right on schedule. And everything that I've ever expressed, everything that I've ever broken down and given very good reason behind, given a very in-depth background on why I think the way that I do on a lot of topics, from why I don't fear God, why I believe that according to Christianity, Satan is actually more powerful than God. I challenge all of the norms that are usually taught in church. All of those things, I challenge it with common sense and with logic. We're not going to go toe to toe. We're not going to go scripture for scripture. We're going to go bar for bar, but it's going to be based off of logic and critical thinking only. Okay. And so, with that being said, now that I'm out of it, um, so far out of it, almost 8 years, I am truly grateful. I'm grateful for the growth, and I'm grateful for what is next. And so, this video today, we're not going to talk about and I want to say this. I want to, preface this to set your expectations, because I'm huge on expectation setting. You're not going to really get any more church conversation from me. I am no longer in a season of talking about the church. I can genuinely tell you I don't care about the church anymore. It's not my address. That's not my destination. It's not in my GPS. I'm not going back over there. I don't really care about what they're doing. I see it online as I'm scrolling, as most of you do. I hear about some of the things here and there from other people that I know who are still in church culture, but it's not my destiny. It's not where I am. And I have to tell you, you get to a point where when it's not your reality, you really don't care about what's going on over there. Like, I can't sit up and talk to people about husbands who cheat, or people who steal, or who are manipulative, or who are nasty or rude or mean or struggling, because that's not what I'm dealing with. And so I find it hard to entertain the things that I am not actually experiencing. And I think that that is something that all of us should get to a point of being able to separate ourselves from in general in life. If it is not your destination, then it should not be taking up any of your time. And so this is going to be a video that talks about the journey of from deconstruction to reconstruction. What does that look like for me? And what could it possibly look like for you? Because I am in a completely reconstructed state. I am no longer deconstructing. Nothing is being torn down. I am not still doing the work. The work is complete. It's finished, and I've moved into my new reconstructed life, mind, and era. And I am proud of that. I am so happy for what all I've been able to do and how I've been able to grow so healthy, so happily, and so full. And it has been a work. It's been a work, but these were the steps that I have had to take in order to get to where I am today. I began questioning everything. And with that, that is a personality trait that I just have innately. That is me as an individual. I question everything, always have since I was a child. But in that deconstructive state, I realized that that was going to be so important to question why I was expected to do certain things that leadership was not expected to do. Why was I held to a higher standard than those who were in leadership or those who should have known more and had been saved longer than me? That didn't make sense to me. And then other questions that defied groupthink began to take place in my life. Why are we doing pastors appreciations? Why does the pastor live better than majority of uh, the lay members, if you will, of the congregation? That stuff didn't make sense to me, and it didn't stop making sense until I was out of it. And so it was extraction is necessary, and I have come to realize that I have a pattern of quitting. Let's talk about it. I have a pattern of quitting. I am a avid quitter. Okay, I am an expert quitter. If it doesn't make sense, I will not proceed with it. If it does not feel good, I will no longer be participating in it. If it does not serve me, I will no longer be holding on to it. So that was the second part of reconstruction for me. And that is now a huge characteristic that shines bright in my life. I am a quitter. I'm going to quit if I don't do nothing else. If it don't make sense, I will be quitting it. And that's friendships. I can't say that's jobs because I am an entrepreneur. But if it's something in my business that does not make sense to me, as a CEO, as a founder, I am held to a standard of leading and casting a vision and setting expectations for those who are under my leadership and those who I have partnered with in whatever way that may be, from my carriers that pick up orders from my warehouse to printers that print labels for me or bags. I am the one that is tasked with setting the vision for what they are to complete. And if I can't do that properly, then I am doing a disservice not only to myself, but to the growth of the vision or the company that I say I want to succeed. And so when it comes to my relationships, when it comes to life, when it comes to my personality in general, if it's not producing fruit, I can no longer water that tree or that plant. I can no longer put any of my resources into it because I'm not getting anything from it. And that's what church was. Church was not producing any fruit for me. I found myself struggling to survive, as many people do. They feel like they're actually underwater. When they talk about having a car, you go to trade it in, and you're upside down on the car, the value has depreciated so much that it's not even worth what you're trying to trade it in for anymore. And you owe more on the car than its actual value. And that's what I found Christianity to be. I was upside down in my religion. I was upside down in my salvation. There were no more benefits in it for me because I actually was smarter than the words that were being taught to me by men and women who simply were not actually good representations of what I was supposed to be chasing after. And so that was a need for separation because it was no longer worthy of my attention. It was no longer worthy of my efforts. They were futile. And if some of y'all don't know what futile mean, if I don't do anything, I'm going to give you a definition for everything. Okay. Futile is explained or defined as incapable of producing any useful result, pointless, futile. Add it to your verbiage, add it to your dialogue in your words. Futile is incapable of producing any useful result, pointless. And that's what it was. That's what a lot of relationships have become nowadays. That's what a lot of commentary has become nowadays. Futile. It produces nothing. Now, it may produce nothing that's beneficial, but let me take that back. It produces something. It produces nothing that is actually beneficial to most people that hear it. A lot of scripture, a lot of word does not produce anything that you can viably use to benefit you. It actually ends up benefiting whoever's teaching it, but not those who are hearing it, because you're never giving anything that is applicable to change your situation. And so you lay in this state, you stand in this state of feeling hopeless and helpless and oppressed because you don't know what's next. You're waiting for the next word to come from the woman or man of God when you should be the one that the word flows through and to in order to feed you. I cannot imagine leaving my nourishment up to a stranger. And if I wouldn't do that for my everyday life, I'm not waiting for someone, my next door neighbor, to feed me. That is my responsibility. So it's like that in church. Why would you go somewhere and expect something outside of you to nourish you? You are responsible for what nourishes you and feeds you and supplies your needs. You find that source. That source is going to be your job. That source is going to be your bank account. That source is going to be your health. That source is going to be your mental wealth. You have to do the work on those things. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Who are you engaging with? What are you speaking out of your mouth? Those are the things that nourish you in order to sustain you and help you to make it through the things that are meant to tear you down if you don't have anything in place to keep you. And so Reconstruction now looks like, for me, I quit. I give up. I'm not going to keep talking to you about the same thing. I'm not about to keep coming to the same place and having the same experiences and feelings. If it doesn't feel good to me anymore, I'm not doing it. And some people would say, well, everything ain't meant to be butterflies and rainbows. And why not? Why are we focused more on the bad than the good? Children don't do that. I am very childish at the tender age of 37. I'm mature, but let's be clear, I'm childlike in my thought process when it comes to things that do not serve me. I want to be happy. I want to be free. Well, I don't want to be free. I am free. I am happy. I am free. What continues to help me do that? Not caring about the issues that plague most people, not focusing on the things that I can't change, which is other people's situations, not living in fear, not living in doubt, not allowing what I don't know to keep me down. I can only live in the absolutes. I can't live in the possibilities. The possibilities mean nothing to me, but the absolutes are the things that I know. There were a lot of things I didn't know in church. There were a lot of questions that had no answers. And the answers only came from scripture, which has been edited time and time again, rewrote by people who had different motives, different narratives in scriptures. You can go to one church on Sunday and get a different context for a scripture and go to another church up the street and a pastor has a totally different context for the same scripture. I don't like that. I like consistency across the board. If there are going to be reports on anything, they all need to say the same thing or we're not doing nothing. Like, that's where I am. And when you look at the landscape of what we're expected to trust and believe, none of it is solid and founded in anything. These are just ideologies from someone else's mind that has been progressively changed over time. And again, progressive not in the way that benefits you, but the one that you go to hear what's being said. It benefits them, their lives. They have the riches and the wealth that's allegedly laid up for the just from the wicked. So are your pastors wicked? Because they live very well. Is your first lady wicked? Because she's able to go and do and see and be and have things you could never. They're able to invest in property. They're able to invest in businesses. They're able to have trust fund babies and you don't. So are they the wicked that has the wealth that's laid up for you in heaven? I saw a quote that said they taught y'all to be they built their mansions on earth while they told you that yours were in heaven. Oh, that'll preach. They built their mansions on earth while they told you yours were in heaven. And that doesn't even have to be literal mansions, even though it actually is. But that can just mean in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Your children don't have what they need, but their children have more than enough. The efforts that you're putting into your life should always produce the fruit that you actually want to eat from. They're able to eat all of your fruit and theirs too. Mm, that sounds like greed. And so at this point, it becomes a full circle moment and experience when you start to look at what does deconstruction do? It removes the old and it builds something new. It builds something better. It builds something that you benefit from. It builds something that actually is a firm foundation for you to stand on and allows you to question what you didn't know before without fear. So seeking truth is now something that I'm open to. I'm completely open to whatever the answers are. I'm open to if UFOs are real. I am okay with that. That's not demonic to me. I removed Satan from my experience and I opened myself up to accepting that there doesn't have to be a villain in order for me to get answers on why there is contrast in every situation. There does not have to be a demon or devil or Satan or hell in order for me to know that some people just aren't well. Period. I don't have to live in fear of people who are not okay. I just have to be informed. I don't have to rebuke the enemy for the devourer's sake. I just have to avoid people that have this kind of energy. My discernment is keen. If I feel anything that does not align with how I know things should be, if it messes with my peace, I'm getting up out of there. In a couple of weeks, a friend girl and I are going to take a girls trip, and I don't do this often at all. I think the last time I took a girls trip was like in 2020, right before the panorama. And that's for several reasons. I prefer the company of my husband and my children. I don't really like to be around a lot of extra people because a lot of energy is not what I like. I don't like being around a lot of people who have a lot of different energy that may not be happy, that may not be peaceful, and it doesn't bother my energy, but I want to put your energy in place. And so since we're all adults, I know I just can't go around correcting people like, oh yeah, no, baby, you off the chain, go to your room. I don't want to do that. And so I just avoid certain experiences that I know are not going to be favorable or enjoyable for me. But I have this girls trip coming up, and it's just me and one other friend girl, and she's amazing. I love her. We are so close and connected, right? um but when we booked the trip, I we never said that we were going to stay in separate rooms. I guess we just like mutually agreed or understood that we would just get one hotel room and be together because we're only there from Friday to Sunday morning. And so as the trip has gotten closer, I was like, I want my own space. I don't want to wake up and see nobody else. I don't want to go to sleep and be around nobody else. I don't want to have to talk if I don't want to talk. I want to do my meditations and all of that alone by myself. And so I just sent her a text. I sent her a text and I was like, "Hey, looking forward to our trip. Are you okay with us getting separate rooms?" She texted back immediately and was like, "Girl, I was just thinking the same thing." And I love that for us because sometimes you can be comfortable with people, you can know people, but that doesn't mean that you always want to have the same or share the same space with people because y'all are not going to be having the same experiences. You're not. There are people that I know I've worked with who had the same job as me, the same boss as me, but they didn't have the same experience as me. There are people that I've gone to school with that had the same teachers as me, were in the same classroom as me, but did not have the same experiences as me. My husband, we're in the same marriage, share the same last name, same home, and the same children, but we are not having the same experience. Everybody is here to have a different experience, and we have to be okay with that. And so I share that to say, even in me knowing who I am, I still have a right to say, this doesn't work for me, like before I even get into the situation and remove myself from it, or don't even allow it to unfold where I can then regret it later. So with her agreeing and saying, yeah, like, let's do that, that's what we decided to do. It's already done. We didn't made the arrangements, we didn't changed up, canceled that one room, and now we're good to go for separate dwelling spaces as grown women. She in her 50s and I'm 37. So I'm like, yeah, I've transcended sharing spaces with people that aren't my children or my husband. I don't want to do that. And usually, or in the past, You don't realize that these certain things are characteristics of how you were brought up, or the way that your belief system affects you. But discernment is everything. You having a voice and making a decision for yourself is everything. I don't like that. That doesn't serve me. I don't want to do that. When I'm ready to go to bed, I want to go to bed. When I don't want to talk anymore, I don't want to talk anymore. If I want to wake up early, go down to the lobby or sit outside or whatever the case may be, I want to be able to do that without having to tiptoe around and possibly disturb somebody else's rest or peace. Those are places you get to when you've reconstructed based off of what your background is, where you feel more comfortable and confident. I've never been an uncomfortable person around other people. I've always done what I wanted to do. Always. That's just me. If anything, other people's will bends to mine. But I don't do that on purpose. People just be like, okay, yeah, we'll do what you want to do. I don't force them to, but that's just how it has always happened. And so I move forward in doing what I want. I suggest you do the same. I tell my husband that all the time. Like, being around me doesn't mean you can't be you. It just means that I'm still going to be me. Now, you do with that what you want. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but I'm still going to do what I want. And you just figure out along the way how you get what you want out the situation as well. Because everything in life does not have to be a struggle. It just has to be us all realizing we're having different experiences. How am I going to have the one that I want? And through deconstruction, I figured out and I learned that I was way more open and willing to find my truth than to try to understand the truth given to me by others. I don't want your truth. Keep it. I want to find my own so that when someone asks me a question about my beliefs, I can concisely, directly, and consistently explain it to them. My answer for not being in church is not going to be the same as everyone else's. I'm not going to be out here saying it's the white man's religion and they use it again. Listen, do I believe that? Yes. But that ain't why I left. Go back to the video, my first video that has hundreds of thousands of views on it, I believe. I think. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. But go back to that first video, why I quit church. That'll tell you why I left. It has nothing to do with the Bible. That came later on. But initially, it was common sense and critical thinking where I started putting together, I've never been hurt by anyone outside of church. All of these offenses have come from people that should have known better because I was upholding the standard of respect and honor and decency in the gospel, and y'all were being trash. The end. I got tired of that. I was not struggling or suffering in church. I was doing very well, actually, tithing, doing everything that I was asked to do, until I started realizing there are too many broken and hurt people in ministry, and no one seems to be trying to get well. I got to get up out of here. I felt like I was dying in church. I felt like I was suppressing who I was because of church. I felt like the work was not really being done for other people to just be good, wholesome people, not good, wholesome Christians. Just be a good person. Why are you struggling with being a good person? What is the fruit of the spirit for if you out here eating nachos and cheese? Fruit. Eat fruit, not junk food. Be a fruit. They didn't want to be a fruit. They wanted to be a taki. These people didn't want to be a fruit. They wanted to be a taki. Okay? So I had to go. I had to get up out of there. And after that, the unfolding of information, the unfolding of validation, the unfolding of truth, wisdom, and ultimately empowerment set in. And it has been planted, it's deeply rooted in love and joy. I don't have any fear. I have no fear. I fear nothing at this point. I don't fear the government. I don't care what's going on with that. I don't care what's going on with um like financial, like the economy. And that's going to sound crazy to some people, but I had to remove all of those focuses on that stuff that made it feel like doom and gloom. I can't focus on the things I don't want. If I myself am not powerful enough to control everybody else's interests, desires, and decisions, whose can I control? Mine. Mine. I'm still a free human. I'm still a free being. And I am powerful enough to control my situation. I don't have to live there. I don't have to eat this. I don't have to go there. I don't have to watch this. I don't have to hear that. I don't have to see them. I am so connected to what works for me that I no longer notice what doesn't. I may see it, but it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't jilt me. It doesn't make me feel as if though I have to choose between the two. I don't have to choose. That's not my business. It's not my problem. That won't affect me. That's not about to be something that I'm going to have a plan B for. Plan A is the only option. I was a plan B girl, okay? Not that plan B, but the actual plan B, like a backup plan. Plan B stands for backup, okay? Over here. But I was a plan B girl, like as a kid, as a young adult, even as an adult, until I realized, and it's amazing how once you deconstruct and once you just come into like true wisdom and your mind is opened, you'll start going back in time and realizing how you self sabotaged so much or how you were like a very intricate part in your own demise in a lot of different ways. And I've given the example before about what I used to do, and I'll tell it again now. But um, when I say that I was a plan B girl, I mean that I literally would have backup plans in case my mother said no to me going somewhere, or in case I failed a test, or in case I didn't get an acceptance letter for college, or in case an outfit didn't work, or in case somebody didn't come through, or money didn't come through. I would always think of the plan B. And y'all, I would put so much energy into it, like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be all right, because yeah, I just do this instead. What I did not realize at the time was that I was using my power and my energy to actually cause that plan B to have to come into play for me. I was not genuinely accepting that everything would work out. I had rested in the plan B having to be used. I had aligned my energy with accepting that I was gonna have to do the second thing because the first thing wasn't gonna come through. I didn't know I had done that. That's how powerful we are. You can rest in your problem so much that you have to execute the backup plan to get you out of it. How about it just never exists? How about you never set up a plan B because plan A is going to work? They're going to call you back. You're going to get that job. You're going to get that money. Your car is going to be fine, right? The answer will be yes. You will get the approval and you won't have to fire off asking X, Y, and Z for money or X, Y, and Z to co-sign or X, Y, and Z to be a reference or X, Y, and Z to pick you up. Don't plan for that. Don't even think about it. Don't even let it come into your idea, your form to need to do it. And that's easier said than done, but it's a muscle that as you continue to work it, it gets stronger and that's all you operate off of. And I realized that I had been doing it in another way when it came to future, like setting future events to happen for myself based off of how I would put things in my calendar. I think it was like 2021 where I noticed that I had been doing this because my first experience that I would call an enlightenment for me was in 2020. And that's when the deconstruction process really started for me. Kind of, but it had already happened prior to that because I'd already left church in 2016. But anyway, in 2020, I realized, okay, there's more to this. Like I should be looking into what they call now manifestation. That wasn't the term for it then, but um, I remember in 2021 I noticed that anytime we booked a trip, anytime we said we were going to go somewhere or do something, that I would put it on my calendar. I would go on this website, booking.com. I'm sure you've all heard of it, like where you can book travel and stay and even flights or cars or whatever. I would go and book the room, but then I would get to the confirmation page and it would show you can cancel for free, like free cancellation up until this date. Well, I would then go to my calendar in my phone and set a reminder that said cancel X, Y, and Z, whatever the hotel was. Let's say Great Wolf Lodge. Cancel Great Wolf Lodge. I would literally go in the future and cancel it in my calendar. When I tell you that blew my mind once I got that revelation. Now again, nobody had to give me that revelation. Nobody had to tell me that. I noticed it for myself what I had been doing. I had been doing it for months. I had been doing it for months, for several trips, and never had it click to me ever. Girl, you're canceling your own experiences. You're going into the future and stating you're pre-dating, not post-dating. Well, you're post-dating. You're post-dating your own cancellation. And I kid you not, every single time we had to cancel those trips. Either it was something financially that would come up, something with our schedules, something with the children. It just would never be able to happen. And then I realized, Christian, you are literally going into your calendar and saying that this is not going to happen. You're booking it on this day and you're also canceling it on the same day. I would click confirm and then I would open my calendar seconds later and put in my cancellation. That'll preach. You confirming your cancellation with your behavior, with your thoughts, and with your actions, with your words. Cut it out. So the reconstruction process looked like me rebuilding with intention, me actually going in and saying, this is not it. I had to put in a whole new foundation. I had to get deep down in there, dig out them roots, pull them up, and then replant so that I can have clarity, so that I can understand what my purpose was, and I can operate in alignment with my actual core values. I could no longer just do tradition because those are things I was used to doing. I was used to planning and then having a plan B. I was used to confirming and then setting up cancellations. I couldn't do that stuff anymore. So from deconstruction to reconstruction, it looked like all of the things that I just pinpointed. Questioning everything, letting go of things that didn't serve me, quitting quickly. I quit quickly. Up, gotta go. Seeking and searching for truth with an open mind. I don't doubt anything. I don't doubt what people will do. People will lie. People will harm you. People will look out for you. People will support you. People will encourage you. People will love you. People will trust you. People won't like you. But guess what? It only matters what you believe. All of this stuff could be true. None of it could be true. I'm okay with both ways. I don't have to become some kind of mad scientist to figure it out. No answer will ever be good enough for everyone. We know that. That's why we have freedom. That's how we have free will. That's how we have all of these options. If you don't want Chinese food and you don't want a hamburger and you don't want soul food, eat what you want to eat. You know, those aren't your only options. Those are certain types of cuisine, but they're not the only options that exist. That is the beauty of us all being different. Imagine us all being required to have the same beliefs. That is not any way to live. No way to live. And lastly, the rebuilding with intention. That was a very intricate and important part of the deconstruction to reconstruction process. And I am so proud and happy to say that I'm here today, that it works and it continues to work. I've had to do some things that I didn't think I would do, and that I didn't want to do. We'll get into it more in other videos though, like when it comes to what do you do with family as you to continue to grow in your individual journey, like as you transcend certain things, like you just can't do it anymore. There are some things, y'all, I just can't do anymore. I can't stomach it. I can't make it make sense. I can't accept it. Like when I see it, I'm like, that ain't gonna work for me. No, y'all enjoy that. I won't be doing it. Like that's where I am on a lot of different things. That's where I am with a lot of conversations. That's where I am with a lot of people. And people may like be like that with me. Like I might have that kind of energy where people are like, yeah, no, I can do her. And I'm okay with that. Like, that's the beauty of it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being everybody's cup of tea because I'm hot chocolate. I'm okay with you not being my glass of water because I like Kool-Aid. I'm okay with with certain places not being, my place of comfort. I don't know, I'm okay with you not being my motel because I like resorts. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I can't do everything, and everything is not for everyone, and that's why we're all having different experiences all at once, and it's okay. It's okay. I think that's the ultimate thing that has come out of deconstruction for me in this reconstructive process, was understanding that it is okay to not like what everyone else likes. It is okay to not think how everyone else thinks. It is okay to not do what everyone else does. It is okay to not want what everyone else wants. It's okay to not show up how everyone else shows up. Show up as yourself. Go after what you want. Be who you are. It's really that simple. And when you find that lane, your life will never be the same. It won't. And I'm here to tell you, I am a living witness and I am proof of that. Some of you all have found me online, like on TikTok. I have a business that has gone super ultra viral. And I've been in business for 6 years. And that'll have to be a video too, where I talk about how I literally, I just transformed my whole life. My whole life. My business has been successful from inception, to be honest. But just over the last year, it has transformed into something that I truly am grateful for, and I take 1000% credit for. I'm not out here giving credit to any other source or being. Me, I did that. I showed up for it. I believed in it. I did the work, and I didn't do the physical labor. I did the mental work. I showed up so authentically and organically with so much clarity and purpose in my heart and in my mind that there was no other choice but to be successful. There was no other path than up, right? And so, no matter what's going on around you, just remember that you have the power within you to do what needs to be done. And I don't mean to sound all woo woo or nothing like that, but I don't have to say a certain thing repeatedly to get people to trust me or to believe that this is founded on anything outside of me. No, no. For a very long time, I was trusting something that I did not have uh, a grasp on. I was following the empty words of man. And now I truly understand. They didn't have it. I had it all along. I was giving it to them. I was giving away my power by believing in what they stated versus believing in who I am. And that is enough for me. So hopefully this video has been, good for you. I try to stay the course. I don't get on videos with notes. Maybe I'll start doing some outlines, but it's really just to speak from my heart and talk about experiences and try to give you guys some applicable steps, but really just set expectations. This is going to be an expectation setting journey based off of real life experiences. So again, I won't be touching on current trending topics as it relates to the church anymore. I don't care about them. I don't. Um, and it's okay. They're doing a beautiful job of imploding in our faces. And hopefully people are awake, they're paying attention, and they're removing themselves. So again, if you have not had a chance to catch up on any of my content from the past, please do. That's when your girl was on that screen talking about that thing. They were on the screen talking about, I was on the screen talking about that thing. But now I'm present in a different way. So and I'll talk about that too in another video, but like what I like how I use my image, like how I allow my voice to actually be present in certain spaces but not all, and how I want that to actually be received or accessed, because that matters too. So, yeah, we'll get into all of the things, but welcome back. I won't be changing the name of my channel. I will not be removing any of my videos. I do not care who finds them, who sees them, who thinks whatever they want about me in that era of life or this one. But I think it is a beautiful journey of progress. And it is truly a journey of trusting the process. And I have come out on the other side, honey. Yes, and it feels good. So, yeah, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email. You can always do that at my2centmatters@gmail.com. That's my2centmatters@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Take care. Until next time. Talk then.